One. Hi everyone from all around the world. It's getting late. I know from the people that in the other part of the world, the European continent, the African continent, it's really late. But anyways, remember that all of these live sessions, even if you are not here live, because it may be difficult regarding time zones, they are there in our YouTube and Facebook. They do not go anywhere. If you want to rewatch them, if you missed out in any statistic, any link, anything that someone mentioned, and you want to quote that person, they will remain there in our social media for your convenience. And talking about digital platforms and everything, welcome to the AI technology and advocacy panel that we're having today. This is our we're almost ending today's day. Yeah, so RYC day. So hi, I will be the moderator for the session. I'm Shoa Mercado. I am one of the IYC directors. I am a current biotechnology engineering student in Mexico and also member of the United Nations Department for Global Communications Civil Society Unit Youth Steering Committee. And I'm really happy to be here. I mean, tech. So, yeah, first of all, this session will dive into how artificial intelligence and technology can be leveraged for advocacy efforts focusing on practical applications. Advocacy organizations have a lot on their plates, and any tool that can save them time and energy while still producing high quality work is valuable addition to their toolkit. With the rise of artificial intelligence, it's no surprise that many advocacy professionals are exploring new ways and new tools to help them with their work. So, by incorporating AI into advocacy efforts, organizations can enhance their reach, efficiency, impact, and ultimately driving positive change and in their chosen area of focus. So, right here with me, we have great people, great personalities. So I will be introducing them so that you get to know a little bit more about their profiles. We will start with Faisal Fayyaz. He's a senior lecturer of Superior University in Pakistan, ISEF Symposium Presenter 2022, Atlanta, Georgia, USA, and Grand Award Judge 2023 in Dallas, Texas. And the actual board member of Asia Pacific Journal of Advanced Education and Technologies, Country Director, Pakistan of International Organization of Educators and Researchers, Innovative Illuminative Award by Global Recognition Award 2023, Honorary Causa Award and Doctorate Award in Computer Science and Sports Science, Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, Cambridge Certified Computer Science Educator, Wakelet Ambassador, Asia Head Director of World Wisdom University, Gymnastics Sports Science World Expert of World Sports University and World Sports Advisors Association, International Gymnast and International Olympic Certified Gymnast Coach and Sports Administrator. And he's also former project manager of PUCIT Punjab University, Lahore, Pakistan, former Associate Secretary of Pakistan Gymnastics Federation, and many more. Thank you very much for being here. And we also have here Ruby Guillen. Guillen. And I'm Latin. Sorry. Ruby Guillen. She's also a big profile here today at this panel, a recipient of the United States of America, the White House President's Lifetime Achievement Award from President Biden. She's part of the advisory board member. She's an advisory board member for the International Youth Conference, United Nations Department of Global Communication Civil Society. She is an advocate researcher for reducing fatal child abuse and family violence. Ruby responds to fatal and severe child abuse calls from hospitals, police, fire, EMTs, and homes all across Los Angeles County. Her extensive child abuse experience, which is assigned over 7,000 children, includes the investigative analytical processes with personnel from hospitals, mental health, police, fire, and other emergency responders. She's intensifying her child advocacy efforts by incorporating technological protocols and data science To bolster the intervention response and prevention efforts, she assists nonprofits grow their social service systems and streamline emergency-based social services. The co-chair of the National Association of Social Workers (CA) Technology Council, and well, she also holds a master's degree in social work. Thank you so much for being here, Ruby. And while we also wait for our third and last speaker, we'll begin with the guiding questions. I mean, we do have to start off with something. And as the topic of this panel is AI, I have to mention that well, I did use the help of ChatGPT. So and we're transparent here. It's a great tool. I didn't like copy paste, but it's a great tool, and I want to be like really honest to debunk the stereotype and the taboo, right? So yeah, first of all, I want to ask the speakers, and you just can tell me when to jump in if you want to. But well, first of all, we have people joining all over the world. So what can you tell us about the emerging trends and technologies that you know or you have heard of, you have experience with, that advocates should be prepared with to embrace the advance and to advance their advocacy efforts? What is the overall advice that you would give our fellow advocates and activists that are interested in incorporating AI and tech but do not know how to?
So, in simple words, if we see this thing, that technology, artificial intelligence, and advocacy is the basically main topic of this conference, of this session as well. So, if first of all, it's all for youth empowerment. First of all, we have to understand that how humans work and how we can empower to humans. So, if we just see that what is the purpose of computer and what is the purpose of machine. So, machine is a hardware-based thing, and it's only to ease to facilitate for the human so that repetitive things could not be happened by human. And on the other hand, if we see the technology, it's the same thing that you have a body and you have a soul. So soul and body, if they are connected to each other, then you can do anything. So same like thing that AI, it's totally basically preparation of your mind, giving you external environment in which you can train yourself, you can mold yourself while not spending a lot of amount or environment or something else. So it can create artificial environment to train you, to basically give you to mold your mind, and in this way you can learn something. So if we see the body and soul, so body is your hardware and soul is your software. So same like thing is this, the artificial intelligence and technology, it's the new trends, new thing. And if we just look at the past, so we can see that before 1980 there was not any subject of computer science. You can see there were many civilizations in the history that having different knowledges, different powers, different kinds of subjects, but they are vanished from the earth. And we have history, we can see the Egyptians, Arabs, and Africans, and there are many civilizations in the past you can observe as well. But what is the main thing? What happened by computer science? What computer science did? What is the main purpose to develop this machine? So humans have developed a lot of machines, but they are mechanical. They were unable to explore or store the things. Mean human brain is still not completely explorable. You know very well, researchers and scientists are saying that processing speed of human brain is 11 million bits per second. But normally we will, or our body or mind only consume 50 to 60% of the basically processing of that thing. So before 1980, the civilization, the territories, they have their own power. They are not connected to each other. This is the only digital revolution after computer science. After 1980, computer science subjects was introduced in the world. The world recognized the importance of computer science, information technology, and in this way, different territories are connected to each other. And now we are globally connected to each other. We are looking, we are sharing, we are caring to each other, we are delivering different insights, and in this way we are exchanging our ideas, our thoughts, and our knowledge as well. So this is first time in the history of the world that this world has become a global village. And not basically happened in the past, while there were many civilizations that has more power, more knowledge than at this time as well. Meaning we talk about numerology, and there are many other subjects available in the world. So when we talk about technology, it's all about of this thing, that how we can enhance the potential, how we can solve the problems of ours, of our youth, of ourselves. But on the other hand, when we talk about the artificial intelligence, it's all about to train your brain, train your mind without spending anything. So it gives you confidence. So when you become basically happiness, so there are many basically molecules and cells are produced in your brain, due to which reason you will get confidence, and in this way you could basically improve yourself and you could perform better. So firstly, there's a need to understand this thing, that how the backend mechanism is working of yourself, your brain and mind, brain and body. So when they are connected to each other in this way, then you can basically produce more optimal performance and you can enhance your potential as well. On the other hand, if we see advocacy, so advocacy is just like this thing, you know very well, that it's first time that United Nations after 1990 they introduced the UNCRC Child Rights Committee. So it was only due to this reason that UN wants, or the basically good thinker of good humans wants this thing, that they want to save every human, every young person of the world. Before this, what happened in India, what happened in Pakistan, what happened in Africa, no one knows. But now we are observing, due to geofencing, we are monitoring, we are looking, we are tracking, only due to this integration system, which basically introduced and produced after the basically computer revolution. After computer revolution, we can see there will be information revolution, due to which reason cellular communication it's introduced in the world, and now we are using mobile phones, we are communicating, we are connecting to each other through the media of air. But what happened? It's all the understanding of backend, that how we are connected to each other through different medias, air, wires, and the other things, through satellites or something. So our young children should, our youth should understand that how they basically, how the backend mechanism of their body works. And second thing is this, that if you are inputting something, you will process something, after that you will get some outcome. So same like data is available in the world. So when you process, it become information. So after 1990 or 1980, information is available everywhere in the world. But if you put more focus on information, then it's become your knowledge. And knowledgeable peoples are very rare in this world. Reason, there are many people who have abundant information. I mean, how many dolphins are in Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean? These are available nowadays, numeric figures. But this is not that how basically what will be the basically optimal or rational its outcome. So if you want to produce rational outcome, so there is a need to understand that what you are inputting, how you are processing, what you are getting information, and after compiling the information through your brain, you can produce rational outcome. That's your knowledge. Uh, Knowledge is power. You know very well. Everyone want knowledge. Different different kinds of knowledges are available in the world, but remember this thing, to keep balance in the society, it's first time by United Nations that peace, justice, and empowerment of youth, it's first time in the history of the world. It's only due to the good thinkers, United Nations oversight, whatever they have basically, due to which reason we are basically getting nowadays. And this conference and all kinds of activities, webinars, conferences, and workshops, these are all the outcomes of these things.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. That was really great. I mean, you mentioned that how can we really solve problems, train ourselves, information compilation, the power of knowledge. You mentioned some important points right there. Thank you so much. Ruby?
I have a different perspective. Again, I'm a social worker, so I'm going to come from a social worker perspective. Um, I have a duality. I'm a social worker and I'm a technologist. I'm a hacker.
Mhm.
So when I was in the military, I worked with aircraft, C-141 cargo planes. I was in charge of 163 airplanes on the tarmac at all times. So being with the Air Force and looking with technology, it was 1984. I was already with computers, worked with the most powerful airplanes you could think of that are flying around the world. And my Air Force base was actually a supply base for all of Pacific Rims. So we were supposed to supply all the Pacific Islands with all the resources based by airplanes. So I was always working with mechanics and electronics engineers, everyone, always on the runway, always with airplanes. So I got to understand technology in a global sense because it was the military, United States defense. And that was my place to learn. So I'm doing that. At the same time, I decided to go to school to be a social worker. So here I am being a social worker. I decided to work for LA County. And when I started working for LA County as an intern, now imagine I started in the military in 1986. I started being a social worker and working for the government in 1995. It's almost 10 years difference. When I went to my desk, there was a typewriter. I had a whiteout, triplicate paper. I had a beeper, I had a pager. So I transitioned from military to social work, but I was still a reservist. So on the weekends, I'd play with computers and electronics and being with aircraft mechanics. Then the minute that was over, I'd be in front of a computer. I would literally be in front of a typewriter. Like, wow, what a stark difference. So here I am working with the Department of Defense, United States military, and I'm seeing their global presence, literally being at any point in the world at any given time. And here I'm a social worker carrying stacks and stacks of paper. At the time, when I had to go visit clients and their addresses, they gave me a Thomas guide, a map book this thick. I have to look through all the pages to find out where I'm at. But then I would take off to the military bases, had this global presence. So it was incredibly different to understand the global dominance of the military and all the technology behind everything, and then go back to social work and dealing with paper. And so when it comes to resource distribution, military was really great. Everything was up to code. They used technology, they used aircraft, they used anything at just disposal. But then when I went to the field to provide services for the homeless, the children under their domestic violence, anybody that was in crisis, I had to use paper, right? Nonprofits, paper, phone calls. I would go to homes, and based on the current circumstances, I had to leave that home and find the nearest phone booth and go to the phone booth and pick it up because we didn't have cell phones. Now, I would provide service in the middle of the night in South Central Los Angeles. You know how safe it is for a woman to walk through Los Angeles in the middle of the night to pick up the phone and call someone? How crazy that is? Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's my experience at the Department of Defense. And you're talking about trends. I literally saw LA County and all the other nonprofits engage with technology. First starting in 2000, we took our first computer system. And everybody, and I remember this quite clear, they put one terminal, one desk in the entire floor of my building. Everybody would walk by and look at it like it was a creature. And like they want to poke with it with a stick. And I saw it, I got all excited, right? Like, wow, this computer. I jumped right away, turned it on, I started working on it because I knew what it was. He was looking at me like, oh my God, what is that thing? That was a trend. And so I saw the whole trend escalate because I was in social services before they even touched computers. I was already doing it. And that's where my love of hacking came in. I'm like, wow, I love hacking. I love doing all this crazy stuff. Then I decided to get a degree in computer information systems to further my education. But no matter how hard I tried to talk about technology, because I saw the power of tech in the advocacy process, the empowerment process, and how incredible technology, its power through the Department of Defense. I mean, God, it was amazing to see what technology can do. And I go back to the field, and I go with homeless folks. I deal with domestic violence, and to be stuck with paper, I'm like, oh my God, we're so archaic. All right, I'm like, I want to be there. I want to help folks. And you give me paper? How many homeless people is going to keep their stacks of paper? It's not, right. You're laughing. Right? How come you're laughing? Come on, educate me. Why are you laughing?
I was just picturing this homeless people, taking stack of paper. It's just like, yeah, probably not even burgers or just like a quilt or beddings, but yeah.
Right?
Picture is just, yeah.
Oh, how about this? I'm Department of Social Service or some other department, and I just gave you a stack of paper and has your social security number and all your medical information on it. What happens?
Liability.
You're right. But if you're homeless, we're going to keep it. Oh, yeah, that's you follow, right? So I'm seeing this. Meanwhile, I'm here in the Department of Defense. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's insane. So, and I'm trying to get folks. I'm involved with nonprofits. I'm involved with National Association of Social Work. I'm involved in other associations saying we need to use technology to our advantage. A lot of folks are saying, oh, I see this laptop. It's pretty. I'll put it over there. But you need to use it. You have no idea how powerful this thing is. So the trends perspective from your perception is this. Believe it or not, COVID was a blessing. I'll tell you why. Because social workers were not allowed to go to someone's house because COVID was present. We were not allowed to do many, many things that we couldn't, that we were doing, like signatures of paper, right? Because everything needed a wet signature. Because of COVID, we now accept electronic signatures because of COVID. Because of COVID, I was able to use my cell phone. Because of COVID, I was able to use technology to the point that now we have applications that I could use today because of COVID. Because I went, oh my God, we can't do mental health face to face. We got to use Zoom. And now people are now social workers are now understanding. Oh, I get what you're saying now, Ruby. I get it. I've been trying to tell you for 10 years, 20 years, but now they're understanding. So I have a group of folks that are building technology for the empowerment process, right? If I see there's someone in crisis, what can I do to help you with a mobile phone, right? There's so many things you could do with this device, especially anybody under 30. Come on. You guys were born with this thing in their hand. When you came out of the uterus, you had a phone in your hand, right?
Yeah.
So from my perspective is, how do we empower our youth in a global sense as a trend? Trend is, for me, is you and you and you. Everybody has a resource. How do we crystallize all these resources as a communal response? Put it on the mobile phone, and doesn't matter where you're at globally, you can connect with your peer within your constituent process and then ask for help. You can do that. Why? Because you have networks to do that now. And social workers are waking up to understand the power of tech.
Wow, that was, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, and the way I really like in general that your passion and the stories that you have to tell. I mean, probably you have like a whole day of stories that you must tell.
You have no idea.
Yeah. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And I mean, to share and to have, I want to like highlight how important it is to have this intergenerational like a dialogue and discussion, because we can learn from each other, vice versa. I can tell you about what it's our current situation, what we also can talk about from our present context, and you also from your past experiences that can also help us see through how in this case how technology has been building up and scaling up in the way that we see it today. You know, post COVID was like COVID in general was a key point.
It was a catalyst.
Yeah,
it was a catalyst for social work.
Yeah.
Anything helping, even medical. There's so many things that happen in the medical profession they wouldn't do. COVID hit. Oh my God, now it's okay. Go ahead. Digital signature, go for it. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Everything is no COVID. It's other things. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
And I want to emphasize and highlight some of the all the things that you said, but for something important. The difference of technological advantages in different field contexts. You mentioned some of your experiences, some of the stories, military versus the social. I mean, we still see that. I mean, it was probably some years back, but we still see that how many, not in the fields but in different sectors, but also from the communities, from vulnerable people that are living today, do not have that technological advantage, do not have that technological response. You know, in the remote part, in Africa, in Latin America, in every part of the world. I mean, as International Youth Conference parentheses, we try to be as accessible as possible. We understand and we encounter many times, and I'm saying this as experience as well. We encounter people that they are seeing this not by through computer, because they cannot access a computer as easy as just that but as in their smartphones, and that would be lucky because you also need internet connection. So that's a barrier too. And yeah, we obviously need to talk, and we will be talking about that, about the digital breach and everything, and the barriers, but also highlighting the experiences, the stories, and the power of tech in empowerment advocacy, and how can we empower specifically global youth through technology? How can we crystal and I wrote this down. How can we crystallize these resources as a communal response? I love that.
That's powerful.
It is. It is. I really loved it. So yeah, continuing with our second question, and I'm doing a squish here. So yeah. So if you could answer, how can advocates ensure that artificial intelligence tech are deployed? And this is okay. Previous, a little bit of context before I come to this question. Um, there are many ethical taboos, ethical stereotypes regarding not only technology right now, which has been like a little bit more slowing down throughout the years, but right now, artificial intelligence, like, oh no, the robots are going to take our jobs, our lives are going to be, we're going to dehumanize ourselves. And there's a lot of concerns all around the world that tech is, it's ruling over. So what can you say about this? How can advocates and us ensure that AI and technology is deployed and are deployed in ways that align with ethical principles, values? How can we eradicate and break through these barriers so that we can amplify the tech, the AI? How can we drive advocacy and inclusion through and with the help of technology?
So when we talk about this point, that how we can ensure the ethical principles and ethical values of these things. So firstly, I want to tell you, and you know very well, that human civilization, it's only due to your humans basically learn from the environment, and whatever we observe, according to that, gradually we learn, and this civilization emerged in front of us. So if we talk about 2000 years ago or 3000 years ago, the circumstances was different. But this is the first time that the things are connected. Territories, peoples are connected to each other. You are training, you are basically giving the knowledge, as well as you are using some apps which having software filtering attributes as well, due to which reason you are restricted. Privileges are being set. So ethical and moral values are being feeded in the software and applications as well. So when we talk about designing or development of any software and application, so there are different pedagogical approaches are using in that to develop that application or software. Reason the software developer want to enhance the uh, individual vision and its potential as well. So when we talk about different applications, software, so you know very well that when you use them, so automatically you could resolve your problem and you can produce your optimal outcome as well. So this is the training, this is the usage, optimal usage, due to which reason you can make the things more better. And it's again the thing that connect global, due to global village we are monitoring, and everything is being connected to each other. So in this way we can set different attributes ethically, morally, and we can give them some better knowledge, better outcome. And in this way the individuals and youth can be you can say can be tracked and can be improved their thinking level, their vision, and their approach as well. So you people are using digital apps. So due to this reason, you know very well that your performance is much better than as reason you are using that apps at your earlier age. But on the other hand, we people use after being our youth age. So your potential is much better than us. Reason you are using these things before your youth age. So youth age is the basically main thing where your potential is going to up age wise as well, physiological, psychological, and emotionally as well. So in this way you can basically mold yourself, make a better human to serve humanity. In this way, you can do something more better and better as well. So, due to digital apps and software, we can giving them knowledge, information, and giving them some ethical values. We are giving them training. So, in this way, we are trying to make all inhabitants of this world much better as compared to the earlier. So, in past, such the kind of examples are not available in the world, and this is the first time it goes to obviously United Nations as well as this digital revolution as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, totally. Youth potential and opportunities with tech right now are like huge. There's an unlimited opportunities, unlimited pathways, unlimited advantages. I mean, truly, yeah. Thank you so much for your intervention.
So here I want to add
Yeah.
one more thing,
Of course.
that research, what is the purpose of research? The whole research of this earth or planet is only to ease for human. In any field, in any subject, in any discipline you can see. It's only to save the human or to save this planet. So it's only for inhabitants of this world. So progressively humans are using these digital apps, and in this way they are enhancing their properties and their, you can say, vision, and their you can say outcome as well. Mean whatever the apps and hardware and software that was used in 1990 or 2000, now we are much greater than capacity of software and hardware nowadays. We are using satellite systems, satellite navigation, Google Map. So these are all example of this thing, that gradually progression of human is going on after the digital revolution. And still this path and this basically journey is going on. And we are making more things. And in this way, in future, maybe you will observe such kind of things, that sensors or some devices will be there, and if someone is smoking and doing any alcohol items, so automatically the sensor or the device autonomous system will tell that this man is having this thing and this one having such kind of chemicals in the body as well. So this is the future.
Yeah, thank you so much. All these tools, all these technologies are helping us. It's really that, it's a support. It's a way that it's making things more effective, more efficient, and more punctual, and making them and addressing all these type of actions, activities that we normally used to do or still are using. I mean, technology is currently as well growing up and being updated as really fast,
Right.
but still really improving our ways of doing certain things that we used to do before and take too much time or were not as precise as we wanted to. Thank you, Ruby. If you want to,
I have a different perspective. You see, I'm an end user of all technology when it comes to person in crisis.
Mhm.
Because one of my jobs is to investigate fatal and severe child abuse. So I work with fire, EMT, hospitals, police, other departments. And so that gives me an understanding because I respond to everybody. I'm literally in crisis. I'm everywhere. And I literally see standing in front of the digital systems being used, like fire department. Some will still use a Scantron. Like, how can you get information on a Scantron, right?
Mhm.
How can you build AI with a Scantron, right? It's a yes or no.
Yeah.
When I go to the hospitals, I go to all the hospitals. I see all the digital systems and how they capture information, and so I see how that information is useful for me, or useful for the police departments, or useful for any given systems, right? So I look at how AI is being built into these systems. Now, I also am really familiar with AI and folks actually build it, and so some of the things are very alarming to me because like I said before, I'm a hacker. I go to hackathons and I compete. And I'll be in environments where I'm the only woman of color. Now, I literally observed a team. They build an AI for the homeless using an Alexa. How can a homeless person use an Alexa to meet their needs?
Oh my god.
Literally. And they submitted it for the judges. And one of the judges was the executive director for Homeless Society. She was holding back her laughter. And so was I. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So understand this from a perspective of AI. AI for me is a dumb machine. It only does what you tell it to do, right? It doesn't do things magically. So you have a bunch of, I'm not trying to be cultural insensitive. I just want to paint a picture. That's all I'm doing. If I had a room full of white men from Princeton, Harvard, Stanford that never touched violence, never understood poverty, and I give this group of men to develop an app for South Central women of color that are dealing with domestic violence issues, what's the likelihood of them developing an AI system that really would address their need?
Mm-hmm.
They would miss it, right? Because I've seen it. Why? Because because of social work, I have access to different data systems. And I am working to 1, 2, 3 in the morning because I cannot stop until my job is done, right? So I am literally logging into different databases, one after another, just to get my job done. Do you think I'm going to do that? No. But then I see all the data elements and how I'm logging into the system and putting the data elements. I'm looking at the data elements. That's not the data elements for this child. That's not the data elements that describes the violence. That doesn't describe the risk. But here's the catch for everybody, including everybody around the world. When you build a data system without understanding your clients, not the clients of child welfare or clients of government, the clients that you're actually serving. That means the data that these systems are collecting is going to create a skewed result. The danger of a skewed result is this: federal, state, county, municipal, or other countries use data to create policy, create regulation, to create their mandates. So you have these systems, including AI, building data systems that don't understand the need of a woman that's poor. What the heck are you doing? What kind of policies are you going to create? Youth advocacy from IYC? We need to address it from our perspective, from our voice. If we see something that we can address from a communal response globally, then we're stupid if we don't do anything. Because we're just recreating systems that's going to harm our youth. I'm telling you, I respond to fatal, severe child abuse. I'm there. I've literally held the hand of a baby that's dying. And then I see how that information is being collected by all the first responders. I'm like, oh my God, where did we go wrong? We're not communicating with each other. Oh, we are. We have all these data systems. Are they connected with each other? What is the AI behind the system that's keeping me from doing my work? Or responders, or police, or fire? What are we missing? So understand that. If we have people that build systems that do not understand our clients' needs, I guarantee you we could continue perpetuating these mistakes.
That's true. I mean, thank you. Yeah, for sure, Ruby. You mentioned such important things. I think many of us are learning a lot of things right now. I mean, it's really true, and it's true. I mean, we romanticize things.
Yeah, we do, but
much of the time.
I'm real.
But that's realistic.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
You're right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No,
My
no.
car literally had a 45 bullet hole on the driver's side. Yeah. It's not the first time I got chased by gang members by myself. Why? The cops left me by myself. And here I am using my phone. I'm driving. I'm literally driving on the freeway at 91 miles an hour because I'm being chased by gang members.
Mhm.
I'm calling 911. They put me on hold. I have gang members behind me. They're after me because I'm in their neighborhood. And I'm about to take their kid away.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I was scared.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, help me, data. But didn't help.
It's not, no, yeah, of course.
What's the point of me being dead?
For
That's
sure.
my reality.
No, it is, and that's a point that I was going to go
Yeah.
through. It's really important. It's really important to be realistic. It's really important to be shocked, and because it's shocking, the reality is shocking, and that's the things and the points that we should be discussing right now. The points that we have to be spotlighting because it's not easy. It's not fun, and well, we romanticize tech. We romanticize artificial intelligence because it's growing up so much, and it is helping, but is it really, are we doing really the good thing? Are we using it in the best way possible? Is it really going to solve our problems that way, or are we going to shift it in a way that we, in your words, address it from our perspective and in the communal response? So that's really important.
So, quick question. What's the point of you opening your door for the communal response, but you don't let people of color walk in the door?
Yeah.
What happens when you're trying to build technology and you say women are not allowed?
And I,
Be-
yeah.
Right. Look at the profiles of leadership in tech. How many people of color do you see? How many women do you see in those pictures? Okay, that should tell you.
Yeah, it should be addressed. And I have seen everywhere. You're addressing and you're building an app for women. I saw, this is an example, a menstrual cycle, and it was built and it was engineered by men. So it's like, yeah, it's amazing that everybody is putting their hands in. However, there are still systematic issues. There is still discrimination. There is still racism. There is
Of course.
still inequality in these processes, in this technological development, and we have to address them. It's true, and because technology, and that's a reality, is privileged. Technology is privilege.
You're right.
I mean, how are you going to get a homeless man, or how are you going to address, and how are you going to put, how you're going to invite an indigenous woman that it doesn't even have seen in their lives a cell phone in, that it's living in the Amazonia, to download an app, So that's really, really important. And to understand the context, to understand the people, to listen them, but not just that, working with them firsthand, it's really important. Understanding also what they are able to access or not. And well, yeah, for sure. And this is really, we're having the energy, we're getting the energy for sure. So yeah, we're going to continue with our next question before we go into the Q&A for our amazing panelists right here. So we're going to also talk a little bit about security and privacy, as it is one of the main concerns that people do have right now, the regulations as well. And well, as fast as the AI and tech is growing, I don't know if many people know about this, but actually a few months ago, if I'm not wrong, the Secretary General and the biggest AI developers were asking the community of AI to stop because of all these issues, because of all the possibilities, possible consequences of this so fast growing developing. So yeah, what steps should advocacy organizations should take to ensure the privacy, the security, the regulations? What can we do to really take this sensitive data when using AI and technology tools? And I also want to include to this question, how can we connect and how can we use data in a really smart and impactful way? Not just to have it there and to store it and to ingress it in a platform, but to really have an impact and to be connected so that it has true meaning to people's lives. So if we start.
So humans' approach vary from person to person as well, and you know very well that every human having their own priorities. Some people's having give preference to their privacy and their data and something else. But remember this thing that if you are in an area where digital connectivity is not available, then what kind of hardship you will face, you know very well. So AI technology, it's a service to solve your problem. But again, there are some systems which can be which have to need to develop to make some autonomous system so that it can monitor, track, and set the privileges so that the basically other the data could not be misused. Remember this thing that it depends on the usage, optimal usage of your AI technology and your advocacy. You are a user and you will use, but it depends on your knowledge and your practice or your skill. If you have the skill, then you can proper use it. If a person does not know how to use Google Map, so obviously he will face a lot of difficulty to reach the destination. But on the other hand, if a person knows, so he can solve easily his problem. So data security and the other things, it all depend on different organization that how to set the parameters that what kind of data should be protected and what kind of data should not be protected, I mean public and private data. So this is a very big question. So United Nation and the other organization, basically security agencies, having different kinds of data. You know very well. If a public organization, they have different kinds of question and different kinds of data, but on the other hand, you talk about the security agencies, FIA, and the other, so they have their own different kinds of questions and their data. So again, humans are basically controlling on the machines as well. So if there is a neutral person, neutral man is there, so the person can monitor and can save the data. We cannot completely give the authority to machine as well. You know very well there are different movies have been produced by Hollywood as well. Matrix is the example. iRobot is the example. You have this thing that if we give the brain ability or thinking ability to autonomous system, then obviously different machines and robot will rule onto human. Being a human, we have inquisitive nature. We have always five W's in our brain: what, how, when, where, how. Due to this inquisitive nature, we always try to solve our problems and we try to think that how we could reach our target, how we can achieve our destination. So this is all on your approach. If you use your skill, practice, knowledge optimally, and you are using AI technology and advocacy rationally, if you are using, then you can basically get optimal performance, optimal outcome as well. Empowerment is these digital tools are the only tools to empower you, empower humans. It's not a basically thing that you totally depend on that thing. Reason you are user and you are controlling that thing. It depends on you that how you use it and how you achieve the benefits from these services. If you are unable to get the advantages from these services and tools, so obviously it means you are not optimally using that service.
Thank you so much. And you mentioned, I'm going to highlight some of the points that you mentioned. I mean, build really well your platform, set the parameters and data, that's really important. And our nature to solve pressing problems and rethinking how we are approaching these problems as well. Thank you very much for your intervention. Now, Ruby, if you want to jump in.
For me, it's a two-part process. When I went to the United Nations in March, I was approached by some NGO from Cambodia. They want to streamline their child abuse process, but they made mention they have villages, and within the villages, the construct of technology doesn't exist.
Yep.
So they said, "Well, you're talking about all this technology and child abuse. I cannot see how that will work in Cambodia, in my culture, my country, in the backwoods and villages." Said, let me show you how you can use technology for the villages in Cambodia. And I said, well, how many miles are you from your local city? And I goes, we're about like 10 miles away. And do you have power? Do you have electricity? He goes, yeah. Do you have internet? He goes, yes. Well, what we can do is this. And this is an actual discussion I had with representatives from an NGO from Cambodia. And I said, well, I have a lot of resources because I belong to a research team for child abuse and the restructuring of the first responders perspective. With Stuart Oppenheim, it's a research group for the state of California. So we're looking at all the trends and how we engage in the response process for all 58 counties. So we're creating toolkits, we're creating all this knowledge, right? So I said, well, I could release these toolkits and all the stuff we're doing from a digital perspective to you in Cambodia. And what you can do from a village perspective is when you're at your city, because that's where you live, you live in the city, then you take a motorcycle to the villages. You could take a laptop and from the city, upload all the stuff from California, because I can give it to you with the internet. I can help you build these systems via California internet. You go to your city, download everything in your laptop, and you get a laptop that has a good battery, and then you take a backup. Then you take your laptop and you go to the local villages. You plug in your video camera and put a sheet on the side of a wall, and you play the video in their language. People that look like them, speak with them, dress like them. And you take the information I'm giving you and you translate it in their terms. You can do that with technology. The difference is you're using the laptop as a database, and you're physically taking this database to the local villages and showing people how to respond to child abuse from a laptop's perspective. And you can do that. And we never thought of that. Yeah, you can even do it with a cell phone. You have a cell phone, a powerful cell phone, plug in an adapter, and little camera, plug in, show it against the wall, and go through the process. Oh, we didn't think about that either. Because there's certain things you can do. And as it relates to AI, again, if you don't build AI, if you build AI with people that do not understand your metrics, do not understand your way of living, do not understand your culture, your language, long yards, you're not going to produce technology that meets their needs. And if that happens, your data that you use to create policy, regulation, and the UN, when they read reports, the reports are going to be wrong or not going to address the needs of the global community. Because why? Because they're using technology that don't meet the needs of the communities. From a global perspective, from a youth perspective, meaning we, youth, because you guys are the leaders today. And you guys, no, not future. They're leaders today. Why? Because I'm serious. I know children, I know youth at age 15 building applications.
Yeah.
And they're advocates. They're activists. And they're using mobile technology to compete with other activists. And they're 15. They're doing amazing work. And I applaud them because they are taking a stand and using technology to address the communal response. And I applaud them. So from an AI's perspective, if we build a communal response and form this process and have it live live in IYC in our network and ask our youth around the world, hey guys, how is AI working for you? Give us some ideas, give us some solutions, reach out to us and we'll post it online. And have this communal response. I say communal because it is community. It's community based by IYC. We were willing to take that chance. We want to embrace our youth's voice. And I know you guys. I know what you guys are doing. So I spoke with you. So how can I take your work or anybody's work from a global perspective and address the needs with people that look like me, look like him, address the needs that you spoke, right? Because you're important. Your voice matters. How do I create a mobile app that'll address what you mentioned before, right? Has to address your concerns from your humanistic perspective. If I get a bunch of white guys, I don't think they're going to do it. So I'm not trying to be, but it's what I see. So again, we need to be together. We need to have a communal response. And where's this community come together? I firmly believe IYC is a good vehicle, and we need to move forward. And Yetta, your hands up.
Yeah. Yeah, come.
So I'm
You're
actually
welcome.
like take some pictures or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just wondering, right? Like I'm like a leader of STEM in my school, almost like a monopoly, you could say, because I run the clubs, right? And I want to encourage.
What school?
Rutgers Preparatory, all the way in New Jersey. But I want to encourage, like you said, underrepresented communities within this field, right? And the problem is, like I've seen as well in our robotics team, for instance, there's only one girl.
How big is your robotics team?
Out of 15 people.
Out of 15?
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
So what
So how do
my
we-
question to you is, no, not to me, to you. I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you into the light.
Okay.
Okay. You said there's 15 of you guys. And only one's a female.
Yeah.
How many students are in your school?
I think like 300 to 500.
300 and 500, right?
Mhm.
What are you going to do to encourage your classmate that's a female to join your robotics team? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And what are you going to do? Because aren't they your classmates?
No,
Yes.
they're actually from different schools.
It doesn't matter.
I just
Okay,
don't
what are
know.
you guys going to do? All three of you guys. I'm asking you.
Everyone.
Yeah. Because why? Because you guys are males.
Mhm.
And you guys the cliche Asian males. What are you going to do to include women in your ranks? Answer
That's
my
why I'm
question.
here. I
I'm
wanna
asking.
know.
No, I'm asking you.
Okay. Well, so far.
What can you do? Talk to me.
I think to make it.
Okay,
Oh,
what's your answer?
So my school has actually started a women in STEM club,
Okay.
which is basically asking women to join
I love
the
it.
kind of this STEM sphere, and
Okay.
it asks them to like lead and take charge. And I know in robotics competition, we've gone to a lot of other schools around just our state. We've seen incredible like advertisements and stuff like this, which invites women to join in and like kind of participate in even this like already originally male dominated kind of thing. And it invites them to lead and join teams and innovate in this kind of field.
Okay.
So that's kind of what
But you haven't asked my question. I'm asking you specifically. I'm serious.
I
Answer it.
know. I want to learn how to create a better and more inclusive community. That's why I'm here, actually. That's why I decided to raise my hand. Now let me know what I've done and if it's enough, right? So right now the club is just like a sign-up sheet. It's whoever we make announcements in this thing. It's kind of like this, right? The whole school community make announcements at the assembly in the mornings, right?
Okay.
Calling for people, whoever's interested to come and apply, right? Now what really like hurts me on the inside, right, is when we're going through the applications and picking through the people who are qualified, is often the males and not the people of underrepresented communities who are. And from a merit-based perspective, it's very difficult to make those choices.
Okay. My question to you is, how would you address it for him?
I was actually going to give him some tips. So I was
Good.
actually.
I love it.
Yes!
I love it.
And then we have a woman over there too.
Give me my computer. I'm taking some notes.
I'm serious.
Yeah. I'm only in high school, but I want to
Yeah.
make sure that this is our
No,
future.
come.
Our
Come
sustainable-
here. Come here.
Come
Come
up
here.
here. Come up here.
Yeah,
Sit
come
with us,
here.
sit with us.
We can turn the double straight too.
No. Sit down. No, sit right here.
Yeah,
Come here.
there.
Right here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right there. There.
I'm taking
Now,
notes.
there.
Give me a second.
No, take your time. So I was actually going to share some of the practice because, well, when you establish the club, right, you had a very good vision, but that's more on the rational level or on the vision level. On the practice level, it may not actually encourage people to join. So I think for girls, first you have to understand what prevents them or stop them, from engaging with robotics, for example. So me myself, I study biotech, I study applied math. I have been working on different business function units from operations to product management to BD, and now I myself is an entrepreneur. So I kind of understand the dynamics behind. First, they never imagine themselves, they never picture themselves,
Yep.
in the tech field. So when you're doing the application, try to incorporate the Asian woman that is already, having some like achievements, like for example, a small demo of the robotics to show in that kind of propaganda. That's really like a huge psychological and very subtle cues to tell women, especially Asian woman or any other woman of color, that they can do it. And this is the first one. And second, use a more subtle way. Don't just hand out application or like, hey, we're recruiting application. Why we're not saying woman? Don't do that. Instead, try this approach. Give out a survey or feedback, kind of the research, hand it out to women specifically that, hey, we're designing a robotic products and we want to have some product, feedback, especially from the female perspectives. Could you please help us? So when you're doing that kind of the survey, you're taking the intake from the woman. They're like, hey, I think this is probably gonna be better, for example, on this color. If you choose that, that's gonna be more user engaging. Or for example, robotics are usually gray, right? So if you try to make it, like green or purple or blue, like more colorful, right? Or on the other hand, on the user interface design, the UX design, or even more, they're like, hey, I don't really like all this button. Like start from a very small component, maybe not that completed. Let's say write the algorithm, or address the machine learning, like how many data sets or epochs you're running, right? But more from the non-technical perspective about color use, UX design, and gradually you're going to encourage them. You're going to say, hey, this is a great idea. I never thought about whatever they say. This is more like a woman, husband, or wife thing.
No,
right?
but I'm glad I'm hearing from a woman's perspective.
Thank you. Yeah. So you're kind of just like encouraging them, like, hey, I love that idea. I never thought about it. And you're going to give them the door, like, hey, would you consider, joining our, team? We would want constant feedback from, perspectives like you. We just need you here. And once you allow them to say, hey, I can contribute, I'm helpful. And the second, you actually show them specific things that they can do to contribute to the team. They're going to be more like, that's good. And then, by the way, incorporate some, perks, for example, not just pizza or guys hang out beers thing, right? And try to incorporate something maybe like cakes or, fruits or something, like just with all these little things. Don't just like hand out to them because they're not going to engage. Just try to use more subtle and soft way to show them exactly what they can already contribute, and gradually more engage them. Like, hey, we want you on the team. We need you guys. Oh, we need you girls. Sorry, you see, like these are the subtle cues. So we need you girls like here with our team. So could you please, join us, or just show them like what they can actually contribute. So gradually they're going to be more engaged, and then gradually they're going to develop interest. Oh, like how did you write that? Like maybe algorithm or machine learning models, right? I want to learn more, and then maybe they would be more interested in studying computer science, apply mathematics, or mechanical engineering. I think that's just like more subtle and soft ways to actually engage them instead of just like hand out to them directly.
Wait, I do want to address something, and this is a parenthesis. If I could, I would devote my life to STEM, to women in STEM. I am a current student still. I had this problematic as well. I have lived it, and I have different and similar advices. But what can I say also is that many women in general, you have to do the survey. You have to always, before addressing a problematic, before addressing a need, you always have to do a survey. What I would do is to ask them in general, do you know these women that have done this? Do you know that it's possible for you to join us? This, that. Mostly women, most women, and it's not that we're not interested, that we do not like it. We may seem like we're not interested or we don't like it, but it's intimidating because there is so much men because we think it's only for guys, it's only for, we have all of these stereotypes. Yeah, we're going into gender roles later. But the thing is that whenever we come into a community, whenever we come into a group that support us, and whenever we see more, it's when we feel the more comfortable. So I would really encourage for you to promote a specific space for women in STEM, not only for inviting them individually, but to arrange something in specific for women in STEM specifically, because that is important.
Yeah, 3 questions. The woman right there in the black, and then the woman with the black and the beige. The woman that had her hands. Yeah, you. And then you too.
Okay.
Go for it.
So I just want to say,
Yes.
I'm studying chemistry
Yeah.
at Berkeley Women's College,
Yes.
and so that is an opportunity I've been so grateful for, because it is a space where I've been able to like focus on myself intellectually as a person of color, and especially as a more femme-presenting person of color, so a non-binary person of color. And the way that I've been able to focus on my chemistry is knowing that there is this amazing group of women,
Sorority.
4 women that came here with me,
Yeah.
who have been supportive, and we need to build those communities, because it's not just how many internships have you gotten, how many awards have you gotten, who has the best robot. It's not that.
Yeah.
It is how do we build community to be able to build each other up instead of sticking to the status quo, which is already placing women of color
Yeah.
and already down. No, we need to begin and introspect and think inside of ourselves, all of us. Think inside of ourselves and think who is missing from the lab bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Women of color.
In STEM.
Yeah, there's two women in the back.
Thank you. I'm Laura.
Hola, Laura.
Hola.
Latina de
Colombia.
Colombia in the house.
I run an organization. It's called Advocacy. So we teach young girls that are that have suffered from Colombia's violence and before code.
Sí.
We code. And I came for this association, or I came into the world of coding and STEM because I changed to an all-girls school, and I saw that there were women that coded, and I got interested because you really don't know that you can do something unless you see yourself reflected in that. So before that, every single person, when they ask you if you code or if you picture someone coding, it's always a man. It's always a man, and you never see in the headlines or in the news a powerful woman coding or a woman that has led a STEM initiative and it's succeeding. So I do really think that representation is important. So how are you advertising your club? How are you advertising STEM-based spaces? Is it always like men trying to get into this, or do you even speak to your classmates about it? Do you invite them in actually with the idea that they can also contribute, not only as a token of, oh, we have two women in the STEM team because they're women, but because they might be actually interested and
Yes.
they might bring a new perspective.
Yes.
The woman in the back, the other woman.
Yes, hi, my name is Celeste.
And Celeste, you're from where?
I'm from France.
Hi, Francis in the house.
Yeah, so I attend the same college as Lucia, and as they said, so I'm a physics major.
Physics.
I know. And I think and this is a life lesson, not just for STEM, but just in general, women don't ever think they're qualified enough. Women
Yes.
feel that they
Yeah.
need 100% qualification.
Yeah.
Men, if they see a list, I'm generalizing, of course, but if they see a list, they'll see one thing and they'll be like, oh, I'm qualified for this. Women feel the need that they need to be qualified 100% for everything. That's why we often fear applying for things.
Yeah.
We don't reach out for opportunities.
Yeah.
So I think, especially in STEM departments, which are like often majorly represented as male-based, I think it's super important that you really advertise that like it's all level first and foremost, and everybody is welcome. Is that you really show that any level and any person, whatever their identity, whatever their background, whatever, if it's in computer science or robots or anything, they have every single right to be there just as much as any other person in the room.
Love it.
I love it.
Amazing.
So actually I want to share a follow-up experience regarding, like the imposter syndrome, right? So when I was in Hopkins, I was my mentor, he retired from Princeton. He's a mathematic genius. He's a member of the National Academy of Sciences, and he just moved on to Hopkins. And I'm the first female student, and also in his lab, right? Thank you. And when I was having this orientation lunch with my PhD fellow in the department, there was a PhD student from India. He asked me, which lab are you in? I say, I'm very proud I'm in the Kerricades lab. He said, oh yeah, makes sense, because only the reason why you're here is because of diversity. And everybody can hear that, including my professor from the CS department, right? And everybody is kind of looking at me how I handle that situation. I wish I could be very proud to tell you that, no. I wish I could be so proud to tell you the version that, no, the reason why I'm here is because I'm good, not because I'm Asian. But unfortunately, that is not the truth. So that was, I think 5 years ago, I was not that confident enough to say that. I just tried to, divert from the conversation, and I was like, everybody's dropped their sandwich. But eventually, I still managed to finish my course of study. And he didn't even dare to apply to Kerikidis lab. And I only applied to that lab because I told professor, you are the reason why I'm here. I knock on the door. I said, professor, you don't know me, but my name is Ling Xing. I'm from Mainland China. And you're the reason why I'm here. And my professor just like, tell me what you do. And good, shoot me an email. I took his course. I got A. Then he also wrote me a recommendation later to do the, dual degree program. I finished it. But later I realized, if I can just be brave enough, if I can just don't internalize that voice, I would have done so much better, but which is okay. Later I just, decided to forgive myself. Hence, I think it's really important just to share the truth. I wish I'm that brave girl, like you have imagined, but I didn't say those sentences back to that student or to my colleague. I wish I did, but now in the professional setting, both of academia and business, and more assertive. And as you can see, I don't do any makeup or jewelry because I'm confident. I don't have the urge to prove that I'm, mature enough, confident enough. So yeah, this is just some experience to share.
Amazing. Yeah, I think, well, we have, I am so proud of it. I mean, it's one of my favorite topics. Thank you very much, everyone from the audience here that you're staying with us. I mean, we are a little bit over time, but it has been great. I mean, we have to wrap it up, but before we wrap it up, I'm gonna give the word to Francis that we connect here. Francis, if you have something to say regarding AI, advocacy, technology, we were just talking about STEM as well. We were talking about many things, but still, if you want to jump in the question, in the topic right here, if you have some words before we wrap it up.
Oh, I think it's echo. Can you hear me? Hi. So, first of all, I just had to step up because I had another, like a time clash with another meeting. But nevertheless, Francis Coma, and I'm also, when it comes to like technology, I'm Microsoft certified, so AI, and then also I just want to like drop a little bit of gem about like how young people can take more advantage of the technology world, and then also the fastest growing AI technology, because like I feel like 6 months ago we are not that in depth into how can we have a system that can be generating so much information in such a rapid amount of time, and then a lot of young people are not like making use of it. Because before that, like for me, I feel like I spend more time like getting access to internet, and then also how can I use it to impact whatever work that I'm doing and connect to a large scale of people from around the world. And then also I try to make sure like wherever young people that I'm working with from across the world, try to encourage them to see how, instead of complaining and blaming the government and saying this person is not doing XYZ for me, but nevertheless to see how they can locked in with their bedroom ideas and then just do research, because everything is available out there on the internet. And now we have ChatGPT, for example, that can just help you extract a lot of information in a short period of time. So I just try to make sure like I advocate for a lot of young people to see how best they can get locked in and make use of this fastest trending technology. So yeah, so if there's any specific question, I can answer it.
Thank you so much, Francis. We are, for our listeners, I know that many of us can go hours and hours through the conversation, as it is a broad topic. We have many things to discover, to still talk about, to discover, to further dive into, but that will be all the time that we have for today, and we have another session. I just want to thank everybody here and conclude that keep on with the great job, keep on discovering and approaching everything in the most impactful way that you can, taking what we have said here. Don't be afraid, make your voice being heard, and really approach things in a realistic way, so that they are impactful, so that they are really tackling and meeting the necessities that we as social and environmental activists, advocates all around the world are trying to do currently. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.